UIC 1414, which is entitled "In the Matter of the Application of Terex Energy Corporation for approval to convert the Lockimer 13-1 located at 25 North, 56 West in the northeast and the northwest of Section 13 in the Spotted Tail Creek Field in Sioux County, Nebraska, for use as a saltwater disposal well in accordance with Chapter 4 of the Rules and Regulations of the Nebraska Oil and Gas Conservation Commission." I think you've already been introduced to the staff earlier this morning. We'll do a roll call for the commissioners to make sure we have a quorum.
Commissioner Robert Goodwin.
He's recused himself, and his letter of recusal because of conflict with his firm is in the case file.
Commissioner Tom Oliver.
I'm present.
And Commissioner John Rendell.
Present. A quorum requires 2 commissioners, so we have a quorum, so we'll proceed with this application that's before us. With the parties making an appearance, please identify themselves.
Stephen F. McToon and Justin Huber from Massey and McToon.
Mark Cotton, geologist with Terex Energy.
Alan Heim with Terex Energy. Andy Peterson, petroleum engineer, expert witness for Terex Energy.
I'm Sim Suntrack Drilling Lead, sitting in Nebraska, representing Vector's use of these energy.
Any other parties making an appearance?
We have David Hawk, who registers his appearance and maybe called as well. And I believe that Mr. Lockham is going to take the attorney house.
I'm Steve Johnson. I own land within a couple of hundred yards of the site, and I just represent myself.
Did you file a protest?
Yes, yes, I did.
Sir? Dave Lockimer.
Okay.
Well, we own the land. Well, that's
John Selzner, attorney representative, next line.
Okay.
I am Jenny Pearson. My husband Lee, we own a portion of Section 13, as well as other ranch land in that area.
And you're within a half mile? Did you file a protest?
Yes.
I am Jane Corman Grove, my husband Rick. I'm an adjacent landowner within that half mile of this site.
And we will need them to, we need to grow this.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Just for those that are not acquainted with the procedure, this is run like a judicial proceeding. We'll have the applicant put on their testimony. That'll be subject to cross-examination. Then opponents to the application will put on their testimony and in turn be subject to cross-examination. The applicant can then make rebuttal testimony if that's necessary. We will, I'll first read the contents of the case file, and then I'll ask the parties if they want to make opening statements.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I would. For purposes of the record, my name is Stephen F. McToon.
Can I read the case file first?
Sure.
Are we all wired up?
Yep. By Scott.
Okay. The case file contains the original application exhibits of Terex Energy Corp. dated November 7th, 2014, and received by the Commission November 10th, 2014. A letter dated November 25th, 2014, signed by Stan Ballou, Deputy Director to Terex Energy Corp., acknowledging receipt of their application and asking Terex to provide a certificate of mailing. A legal notice dated November 25, 2014, signed by Stan Ballou, Deputy Director, setting the hearing for the application on December 23rd, 2014 at 10 a.m. in this office. A certificate of mailing and notice received by email December 29, 2014 from Terex Energy Corp. Stating that they mailed a copy of the attached notice on December 8, 2014 to the persons identified on the attached Exhibit A. The original certificate of mailing and notice were received by the Commission on January 13, 2015. A legal notice dated December 17, 2014, signed by Stan Ballou, Deputy Director, setting the hearing on January 27, 2015 at 10 a.m. in this office. Proof of publication dated December 24th, 2014, received by the Commission January 2nd, 2015, from the Crawford Clipper Harrison Son, the general circulation in both Dawes and Sioux counties, stating that legal notice of the hearing scheduled on January 27th, 2015, was published in said newspaper on December 24th, 2014. A certificate of mailing and notice received by the Commission January 6, 2015, signed by Stephen F. Mattoon, attorney for the applicant, stating that the attached notice of the January 27, 2015 hearing was mailed on January 5, 2015 to the parties identified on attached Exhibit A. A notice of continuance dated January 20th, 2015, signed by William H. Sedow, Director of the Commission, stating that this application has been continued to the February 24th, 2015 hearing date. A notice of continuance dated February 13th, 2015, signed by William H. Sedow, Director, stating that this matter had been continued to the March 24th, 2015 hearing date at 10 a.m. in this office. A letter dated March 18th, 2015, and received by the Commission March 19th, 2015, from Robert P. Goodwin, recusing himself as Commissioner for the hearing in this matter due to a conflict of interest. We have received several objections from the interested parties and one letter of support. A separate file has been established for numerous protests and objections filed in this case, as well as 2 letters in support of the application.
Sorry for making you wait. Purpose of the record, my name is Stephen F. Mattoon. I'm an attorney authorized and admitted to practice law within the state of Nebraska. Offices at 907 Jackson Street, P.O. Box 316, City, Nebraska. I have associated with me today Justin Huber, an associate in our office who will be assisting in the distribution and dissemination of exhibits as we go through them today. And I would note that we do have 3 expert witnesses who will be testifying, and we also have an additional witness as an expert witness in saltwater disposal operations. As the Commission noted, this is an application to convert the 13-1 Lockemer well located in the northeast-northwest of 182556 to a disposal well. This is pursuant to Chapter 4, specifically Rules 004 and 002 of the Commission, which allow for such conversion to disposal wells. We would first request that the Commission take judicial notice the entire well file with regard to the Lockemer 13-1 well, which includes the original completion reports, subsequent changes of operator, subsequent work on the well, and also some tests which have been conducted. So we request judicial notice of the Lockemer 13-1 well.
Notice is taken.
We would also note that there have been 5 protests filed. Jane Grove and Ross and Sharon Corman and Stephen and Marilyn Johnson all filed protests which basically said they object to the application. Additional protests were filed by Houston Flying A Ranch, which were somewhat more specific, saying they disapprove of the increased traffic on Highway 29, potential contamination of groundwater, that there may adversely be an effect on the environment and there may adversely be an impact on groundwater. It should be noted that the owner of the lands in question is here today and has filed a letter of support and may also testify, that being Mr. Lockmore. It should also be noted that although notice was given and although they clearly have an interest, the Department of Roads did not file a protest or objection to the application. And as it stated, Mr. Locker may be here to testify. At this time, we would request that at least our 3 initial witnesses, Marty Gottlieb, Andrew Peterson, and Alan Heim, be sworn.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
I do. Yeah, I do. First, I'll call Mr. Marty Gottlieb to testify. Marty, would you please state your name, spelling your full name for the record?
Martin Gottlob, M-A-R-T-I-N, G-O-T-T-L-O-B.
And what is your business address?
520 Zhang Street, Broomfield, Colorado.
And what is your current employment and description of your duties?
I'm Vice President of Geology for Terex Energy Corporation. My duties include generating oil and gas, drilling projects, development, looking at leases, developing oil and gas plays, and then upon production, supervising, producing of the wells in general oil and gas daily business.
And would you please advise the commission of your educational background?
I have I graduated from the University of Colorado with a bachelor's in geology in 1979. And I also have a master's in mineral economics from Colorado School of Mines. I graduated in, I received my diploma in 1995.
And what additional education classes have you specifically taken which deal with the subject matter of this application?
Typical oil and gas type stuff. I've taken several Schlumberger log analysis classes. I've become proficient in computer, geologic computer mapping.
And what professional certifications do you have?
I'm a member of American Association of Petroleum Geologists. I also belong to Rocky Mountain Association of Geologists, and I have a professional certification in the state of Wyoming.
Would you advise the commission as to your work experience and a general description of your duties with regard to each work experience?
Well, right out of college, I started working for a company in Boulder, Colorado, Mountain Minerals Incorporated. I worked for them for 2 years. I traveled around to various states and basically mapped all the coal reserves in North America. Structure, isopachs, overburden, and that was for the United States Geological Survey. And then subsequent to that, I did a follow-up study with a company called Resource Technology Corporation, and we did a similar thing, Coal Resource Occurrence Coal Development Potential Project. Maybe some people might be familiar with that. That was a 4-year stint of mapping. That's where I really learned to interpret logs and learned how to map geologically. Subsequent to that, I went to work actually from coal, transferred into the oil business, and I went to work for DeKalb International Corporation and worked for DeKalb. They were a Canadian-owned company that was based in Denver. And I worked for them for 3 years, generating, drilling prospects in the Denver-Julesburg Basin, most notably at that time Washington County, was where I spent most of my time. And then we hit the crunch in 86, 87, and we had a big layoff, and I was let go with most of the other staff. And I started my own company, which I worked 15 years, Minnoco Inc., and I concentrated in the Melaleuca Formation up in Powder River Basin, drilled 30 or 40 wells up north of Gillette, in around Moshoto, that area, and had several nice discoveries in the Melaleuca Formation up there. Subsequent to that, I went to work for Petrogulf Corporation. I was their exploration manager for 3 years. They were based in Denver, and we worked in the Rocky Mountains, drilled wells in the Rocky Mountains, some on the Gulf Coast, even drilled an offshore well, drilled numerous wells in California, and then one big project was in the Raton Basin coal bed methane project. We took $20 million worth of investment and turned it into $500 million in 3 years. Subsequent to that, I went to work for Tiger Mike Davis. He was based out of Las Vegas. I was his exploration manager for the last 10 years, and that's where I really became familiar with Nebraska and the Oil and Gas Commission here. We drilled dozens, if not hundreds, probably hundreds, of wells in Banner in Kimball County, that part of the DJ Basin, and had numerous discoveries and generated a lot of income for the state of Nebraska. And then I was traveling to Vegas back and forth, and after 10 years of that, I got a little tired, so I decided to stay home and work on my own projects. So I did that for a year, and had started an inventory of projects. And then after a year, Alan and I decided to hook up. Alan had worked for Mike Davis as well, and we knew each other. And we sat down with a mutual friend of ours, Don Walford, who's our CEO of our company. We decided we were going to start a company ourselves, Terex Energy Corporation. And there's been some of the articles that have been floating around about bankruptcy and so forth. That wasn't us. But anyway, we'll get to that more later. But that was February 12th of 2014. And we have been incorporated since then, and that's the start of our company.
We request that the commission accept Mr. Garland as an expert witness in the field of geology.
Any objection?
No.
Marty, are you basically in charge of all the geological analysis with regard to the application for
Yes.
conversion and operation of the Lockhammer number 13- well to a
Yes.
disposal
Yes.
well? In particular, have you reviewed the well files and all other available information from the Nebraska Oil and Gas Conservation Commission with regard to the Lockhammer 13- well, one well and all their wells from a geologic standpoint?
Yes, I've reviewed them pretty well.
And that would include those that are dry, completed, or previously producing within 1/2 mile of the Lockhammer well?
That's right.
All right, I'll hand you that, Justin. All right, Marty, I'll hand you what's been marked as applicant's exhibit number 2. Have you reviewed that document?
Yes,
And who prepared exhibit number 2?
I did.
And that was, and so it's prepared by you and fully reviewed by you?
Yes, the map itself came straight from the Nebraska Oil and Gas Commission website, and all I did was basically relay the well names for this particular well.
I'll direct your attention to what's been marked as applicant's exhibit number 3. Did you also prepare that?
Yes, and this is a similar map, only at a bigger scale. The well, the sections and township and range and section numbers and the well spots came from the Oil and Gas Commission website. And I made notations to the specific wells, putting their well names and spud dates and where appropriate, plugging and banding dates. And on the left-hand side, there's annotated well log that is the well in question that used to be called the Burlington Resources Bird 21-13H well, which has been renamed to the Lockhammer 13-1. That's our disposal well.
Before we get into the specifics of each well, is it correct that exhibit number 2 includes an attached survey of the original survey for the
Oh, yeah, that's
location of the
correct.
Lockhammer well?
Yeah, that was by Powers.
So you prepared exhibit number 3?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we would offer exhibits number 2 and 3 at this time.
Any objection, Chairman?
No objection.
That's admitted.
Marty, using exhibit number 3, would you please explain drilling and current status of all wells, including the Lockhammer and all wells within 1/2 mile or close to 1/2 mile of the proposed disposal well?
Okay, the Lockhammer 13-1 well is in the northeast or the northwest of section 13. That was Burlington Northern spud that well in October of 1998. It was designed as a horizontal well with 12,550